What's going on, guys? I'm Coach Tyler Matthews here at Fast Phenom Basketball Training, and today we are gonna fix your shot in under 10 minutes, all right? Started, here we go, guys. So the first thing that I see of why players are struggling to shoot is simply the way that they are holding the basketball. Now, there's been myths that go around for the last 50 plus years about how to hold the basketball. A lot of people will teach one hand underneath it, which I agree with for the most part, and that your other hand should be on the side. Now, where this becomes a problem is that most players, pretty much all players, don't have big enough hands to support the basketball and secure it into their hands if this hand is on the side. So what we want to do instead is we don't want to have this hand on the side where when I come up, it can slip out. We want to have our hand more towards the top of the basketball, right? So what that looks like, if you study a lot of the best shooters, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, guys like this, you'll see their hand is not on the side. They're not creating this T, no T. We want this hand more towards the top. My palm and the padding of my hand might be on the side, but my fingers are more across from the fingers on this side. So if you fix your hand placement, that will be a big fix towards the rest of what we'll talk about in this video. All right, so we want, again, almost how I clap. If the ball is down, if I'm clapping like this, that is how I want to be able to hold the basketball to shoot. Now, the second thing I want to talk about that ties in with hand placement is your follow through. So when you finish your shot, we want to make sure that we are feeling the ball come off of the inside part of our hand. So we don't want to be feeling it come off the pinky or the outside. A lot of the times that's where we'll see players swoop in, right? Or swoop out too much if it's overly coming off the inside. But this is the inside of our hand where we're going to have the most control. So if we can come up and shoot right through these three fingers, these are our control fingers, that's where we're going to become the best shooter, right? With our guide hand, as it peels off of the ball, we should simply be holding the number 5 right next to our shooting hand. All right, so let's take a look at what this looks like at the basket. All right, again, I get my hand placement right, shooting hand on top of the ball, guide hand underneath it. Now from there, I'm gonna start hips down, ball down. I wanna lead with the ball coming up, and then as I get into that, I wanna be able to have that follow through, again, where the basketball, I'm feeling it come off of the inside part of my shooting hand. One pro tip to feel this out and make sure that you're doing it correct is we want to think about putting our hand in the basket, and then ideally these 3 fingers are the lowest, and so we talk about hanging the pinky, meaning the pinky should be hanging after I shoot. So again, I start hips down, ball down, I'm going to flow up, and then everything should go into the basket with my guide hand being right next to it, holding the number 5. So we've talked about 2 things so far. We've talked about your hand placement on the basketball, right? Making sure that that is correct. The second thing is your follow through. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about as far as becoming a good shooter is timing. So there's old school methods of bringing the ball up while your hips are down, right? And then trying to push through there. Now the problem with it, it'd be like if I tried to jump with my hands up. I lose momentum. So we don't want to start the ball up as our hips are down, right? Because again, I'm not using momentum to my advantage. What we want to do, and I briefly already touched on this, is have our hips down with the ball, right? So hips down, ball down, and then we think both come up together, right? We want both to come up together, but the better way and the way to actually make both come up together is to lead with the basketball. Lead with it, but don't go first completely with the basketball. So going completely first with the basketball would be this. Leading with it would be the ball starts the motion, but the hips catch up so that by the time I get to what we call our lift point, now my hips are pretty much fully extended. And then from there, I translate that power into my core, or through my core and into my arms to then complete that follow through. All right, so again, we want to start close to the basket. We'd go hips down, ball down, all right? And then you can either think ball first, hips follow, or we can go both at the exact same time. What I will say is that there's players out there, if they think both at the same time, they end up going hips first. So we don't want hips then ball. That creates a delay in our shot. We want both together. And the best way to create both together is ball slightly first, right? Ball comes up slightly first and the hips will catch up to it. Sweet, so we have another 5 minutes. You should have gotten a lot out of this so far, right? We have 3 things that we've covered. We have your hand placement on the basketball, we have your follow through, and then we have that timing relationship between the hips and the ball. Now, another area that I see that players really struggle with is the foundation of their body, which is the feet, right? Your footwork is your foundation. So if you are a right-handed shooter, what we want to do is we actually don't want all of our toes pointed directly towards the basket. More what we want is what we call a slight tilt. So if the basket is 12 o'clock, if we're looking at the court as a clock, if the basket is 12 o'clock, we want our feet actually pointed towards 11 o'clock if we're right-handed. So what that does is that's creating like a 5 to 10 degree tilt towards the side. By having this slight tilt, now I have my right shoulder, right elbow, right hip, everything is now squared towards the basket. So if I'm standing straight towards the basket, it's really hard to get this elbow squared without me. I have to jam it in, which becomes really uncomfortable in the shoulder, elbow, wrist. If I just get this slight tilt, now my elbow is naturally squared as I bring it up, and it's a lot more comfortable for me to be able to get into this shot, all right? Vice versa, if you are left-handed, instead of going towards 11 o'clock, you would be at 1 o'clock. So right here, you would tilt this way, and now your left hand, left shoulder, left wrist are all closer to that basket, all right? So with that being said, we wanna have our feet pointed towards 11 o'clock. From there, both feet are directly underneath my hips. This one will look like it's slightly in front of this one because of that tilt, but they're both under my hips. And then ideally, we want to feel an even press off of both legs. So what some players will do is they'll lean too far to the right or too far to the left. They'll be leaning back, right? And if we're starting close to the basket, we want to feel everything flowing up onto our toes. And then as we work our way back and we start to jump, we want to jump evenly and land evenly on both feet. All right, so 4 things we've talked about. Number 1 being your hand placement. Number 2 being your follow through, right? Shooting hand in the basket, guide hand holding that number 5 right next to it. Number 3 is timing the hips with the ball, right? Hips down, ball down, both come up together. Or if anything, we're gonna lead with the basketball. And then the 4th thing being your feet, which is instead of 10 toes to the basket, we get that slight tilt towards 11 o'clock. Did we beat the timer? I believe we did. So that was today's shooting video. 4 things to fix your shot in under 10 minutes. Shooting is a numbers game, so you want to make these corrections, and then we want to get reps on these. Start close to the basket. The way the ball comes off your hands when you're close to the basket is a lot of the times the same it's going to come off when you're shooting 3-pointers. Same with the feet, follow through, timing. We want to start close and then work our way back. All right, hopefully these tips gave you some insights. Go out there, experiment with this stuff, get a lot of reps, and become the best shooter that you can be. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. Stay tuned weekly. We're gonna be dropping videos like this to get you better as a basketball player. Thank you.